What up? What up? What up? We back with another edition of the ATL Three Style Live Podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Lee OG, and I'm here with my boy Banks out there on the south side. What's going on, baby Banks?
Hey, what's up, Leo? What's going on, everybody in internet land? How y'all feeling?
Man, everybody's feeling good, feeling great, man. Got a lot to talk about in the world of sports today, man. So we just gonna jump into it, man. A lot of stuff going on, Banks. I thought we were gonna run out of content, man. I was like, you know what? Are we gonna have enough to talk about to get us to the fall? But hey, look, it's a lot out there to talk about, man, and we're gonna jump right into it, man. A couple of things that we need to do first, man. Definitely want to shout out our boy over there, man. You know who it is. Tell him who it is, Banks.
Yeah, get up our boy Phil out there on the Eastland Woodworking Company. Anything that you want personally done, or your ashtrays, or your personalized coasters, or plaques on your wall, hit the man up, man. Hit that QR code and tell we sent you.
Absolutely, man. Hit our boy Phil up, man. He does good work over there, man. And I do apologize. We got a couple other people that want to be featured on the show, Banks, man. So I definitely got to get their information here, man, so we can get them featured on the show as well, man. So yeah, man, good stuff going on right now, man. Summertime vibes. We are fully into the summertime. I know in the last podcast, Banks, you were talking about it. You didn't know if you were feeling this summer weather, man.
No, no, not at all. That's swampy, what I call swampy butt crack weather. I would pass on that.
Hey man, listen though, that's it's that time, when vacations come up, man. It's hot. You get to go to the beach, the pool, whatever. Hope everybody's staying cool. It hasn't been extremely hot. It's just not cracking and getting into the upper temperatures here. Got a lot of rain here in the city, man. So that's kind of weird, but hey, it is what it
Well,
is.
you
Uh,
ask and you shall receive, because this weekend is going to be one of the hottest of the year. So stay
okay,
tuned.
let's do it. Let's do it. Hottest of the year, man. I'm prime for it, man. A couple of weeks away from the fourth. I know everybody looks to celebrate that as one of the biggest summer celebrations. However you want to do it, just past Juneteenth, man. Just passed. You know what I'm saying. So everybody that celebrated that, I know I celebrated it big for Juneteenth. I do it every year. So shout out to everybody that celebrated that. So Banks, yeah, man, we just gonna keep this thing rolling. It's a lot to talk about. Hopefully, we can get everything in. I know we had put together an outline on yesterday, but there's some news that has come about today as we record this live. We're doing this live on Facebook. What up on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, man? That we had to talk about breaking news actually, and we're gonna lead off with it. Okay, so listen, if you didn't know already, if you're just tuning in, if you didn't check your feeds on your phones, the Atlanta Falcons have given a 3-year extension to tight end Kyle Pitts worth about $54 million. $54 million over to Kyle Pitts. It's $36 million fully guaranteed. Kyle Pitts was already franchise tag, but they went ahead and they made the deal to make him one of, if not the highest paid tight ends right now in the NFL. I didn't see the particulars because, like I said, this was some breaking news, so I didn't get a chance to break everything down. I know Banks was probably punching the air and crashing out over there. We know his relationship with Kyle Pitts obviously it's been a tumultuous one since he's been here. Him being drafted as high as he was, and the expectations put on him that he's not lived up to. But now the Atlanta Falcons, they double down for the next 3 years, and they give Kyle Pitts an extension. Okay, so Banks, I know you were crashing out. I know you were, but let's talk about it for a minute. Let's talk about your first impressions when you saw this come up on your phone or come up on your feed that Kyle Pitts was going to get paid.
Well, I was driving and I had to slam on my brakes because I was like, I know we just didn't do that. I, for one, thought, silly me, I have an assumption about this damn team is that maybe, he got the franchise tag and it was kind of a prove it thing with a brand new offense and a brand new head coach. Let's see how he pans out maybe and see if he's worth keeping around. But no, let's go ahead and double down and throw out there and make him the third highest paid tight end in the league. So congratulations. Y'all really seem not to surprise me anymore.
All right, so I mean, I guess in your opinion, big waste of money, big waste of time, correct?
Well, my thing is for what he has shown over the years, I mean, what has he done to deserve the money? I mean, are we just going by, are we hoping what he's going to be, or what we know he's going to be? 'Cause for right now, we don't know what he's going to be. Okay, for where everybody keeps talking about, so he hasn't had a quarterback. Well, I don't think that ever stopped Drake London for ever catching balls from these particular quarterbacks. I mean, so what are you doing? You had one good year, and that was your rookie year. So I need to see something. Put up or shut up. I don't want to hear nothing else about no unicorn, about no number 8. Do your job.
I
Period.
don't think I don't think the unicorn has been brought up since the draft day, Banks. I
And
think we're
thank
well
and
past
one and
the
good and
unicorn.
rightfully so.
Oh yeah,
Rightfully so.
I think we're well past that, and I think that I've made a point to say, hey, you know what? I mean, he didn't put that on himself. I mean, these were the people that were on draft night calling him that because of his attributes and his skill sets. I know you were not very fond of the pick, and I know that you're still not fond of this deal and him being actually on this team. You know, him being franchise tag, like you said, was obviously something that we thought the new brain trust was going to have him on, like this quote unquote prove it deal. But it looks like this brain trust now has big plans for him, at least for the next 3 years, with this new regime, with Stefanski and this new offense that we're going to go into this fall. Which brings me to the fact that we just on the last podcast, we just found out that we paid Drake London. You know, Drake London got 141 million for 4 years and 100 million guaranteed. In comparison, Banks, we decided we were going to pay both of them. I mean, to keep this offense, I guess, whole. So with that being said, I guess in your opinion, Drake London's money was warranted, and this still is unbelievable with what they did with Kyle Pitts. Am I right in that
Yeah.
assumption?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And Adrian Stokes, you're right. That we're making room for Bijan. Listen, the whole excuse that we gave for not we, I'm just gonna say folks have gave Kyle Pitts is that he hasn't had a steady quarterback to throw him the ball, and I call BS on it. Not when you have Drake London catching those same balls and doing something with it. So what that tells me is either you're being lazy on your routes, you're not doing your heart is not there where you for your size to be shut down by, let's say, a 5'11" corner that's just taking you out the game. That doesn't make any sense to me. In your size, you should be dominating. You should be out there, the biggest guy on the field, and you don't play like it. And unfortunately, you haven't showed that you want to be that guy. To me, and until he had a little flashes against Tampa Bay, but you can't play Tampa Bay every week. So you got to show me something, brother, besides a couple of games here and there. If this is what they want to go with this, let's see if number 8 going to really be that guy, that number 3 target on his offense.
I mean, ultimate team sport. I mean, obviously, yes, the numbers do not prove that Kyle Pitts deserves, I guess, the money. From a fan perspective, I have no idea what the brain trust is looking moving into the future as far as him being here. Because obviously, we say 3 years is kind of a long term. You're committing to him with that type of money over the next 3 years. He's already been here. I think this is going to be year 4 for him. So he's going to essentially be here for 7 years. And there's a lot of implications when it comes to money if you decide to cut him after this season. So you really are kind of glued to him at least for another 2 years. And like I said, 36 of this is going to be fully guaranteed. For the offense, a couple of things, and we'll talk about it here, Banks. Continuity wise, shout out to my boy Stokes, man, who just said Bijan, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But continuity wise, I mean, you bring back 2 of your biggest targets. I mean, and I say biggest targets because, I mean, let's be real. Drake and Kyle are the only people that are actually coming back. We have a whole new wide receiver room, obviously, and the tight end depth chart is really not, it's something to be had. So from a continuity standpoint, I mean, even though we don't have a franchise quarterback right now, is this something, or the assumption can be made that this brain trust wants some continuity and they want to continue to build an offense around Drake, Kyle, and Bijan? Because we know Bijan is going to get paid. Do you feel like this is what Stefanski, Ian, Cunningham, and Matt Ryan want to do, is build a continuity around the big 3, which would be Drake, Kyle, and Bijan?
Well, obviously, that's the only thing I can say. That's what it is. I mean, you can't sit there and say that we believe in this guy so much that we haven't seen a lot from this guy. Let's just go ahead and throw our hats out there and put our necks on the line that he's going to be that dude for us. I'm hoping it is about continuity and keeping this core together and see what this new offensive brain trust can do with him. They say Stefanski is a tight end lover, so I mean, let's see what
Whisperer.
happens. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know anything about the coach. I have no idea. Let's just wait and see, I guess.
I mean, yeah, we're in the dark. I mean, obviously, we haven't laced them up yet, man, and that's probably going to be the tail of the tape is how we look and how this offense looks with Stefanski and what he has in mind. I mean, it's been a lot of talk, a lot of smoke and mirrors. I mean, obviously, the only thing we have to go by is his time in Cleveland, which was kind of muddled. He did have a very, in my opinion, serviceable tight end and Njoku up there in Cleveland. It was pretty decent. I wouldn't say all world, tight end, but it was pretty decent. I don't even, to be honest, I think that the ceiling for Kyle Pitts obviously should be a lot higher than Njoku. A lot of people will argue that because they feel like that he might be a little more proven than Kyle Pitts. But there's a lot that's been I guess been seen with Kyle, maybe from the coaching staff. I mean, in practices and camps and whatever. I don't know, but this is I want to say the third regime. If this is it the third or the second regime, this is the third regime change for Kyle Pitts. He came in under Art Smith, then he came
Smith, right? This
with
is
Raheem Morris,
third
and so
regime.
now, yeah, so now we here with Stefanski. So I mean, to be honest, and I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he hadn't had a lot of consistency and continuity since he's been here. So let's be real about that. I mean, you changed, and I know people want to say and make the argument that that's inexcusable. That as a professional, it doesn't matter who's back there coaching. If you're that guy, you're that guy. You're going to receive those targets. You're going to catch those passes in those situations. It doesn't matter who's the quarterback or who's the coach. But I give him a little benefit of the doubt that when you don't have consistency and continuity at that, at the front, that all kind of trickles down. So I mean, I guess you know Stefanski wants to kick the tires and see what he can do with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and also Bijan. Here's the thing, Banks, that really for me is where I kind of get confused and what I want to talk about. Obviously, we know Bijan is going to get a payday. We don't know when. I mean, obviously, we know a lot of money will be freed up, dead cap space, because the Kirk Cousins deal is kind of off the book. So moving into 27, 28 will free up some money. And obviously, the Bijan deal will get done sometime between that period. But we still have the biggest question mark with this offense at the quarterback position. So that is where I'm looking at long term as to what are we going to do there. I mean, you said you want to keep Kyle. Obviously, we've locked him up. We've locked up Drake London, and we know. I think that there's not without a shadow of a doubt, that they're going to lock up Bijan at and make him probably not probably. Let's just go ahead and say it, he will be the highest paid running back when that deal gets done, whenever it gets done. But the biggest question mark for me, Banks, is the quarterback position. So, under the assumption, Banks, where do you think, or what are they looking at from a quarterback perspective? Because you got a Michael Penix here that's coming off an injury. There's still a lot of question marks around him, and then you brought Tua in on a real deal, prove it 1 year option. What are they thinking about at the quarterback position?
That is the $64,000 question, Leo. I have been tossing and turning, thinking about what are we doing at the quarterback position. We know half of me wants for Michael Penix to, be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Draft him for draft him to be as the franchise quarterback. But at the same time, the human side of it is that you coming off an injury. You're coming off a injury of your third major injury. Now, how's that's going to affect your psyche, your willing to go that extra mile? That going to affect your play? That's what worries me about Penix. And then on the other side, you got Tua out there, who's basically the bridge, if you will, to hopefully for Penix to come back and be okay. But if Tua becomes that guy that can kind of take you to some places, I mean, is he going to stick around here? I mean, are we going to give him another contract? I mean, are we just going to let him walk? I mean, it's so many questions, and I think a lot of people, when you talk about this franchise, it's the hang up. Yes, you got Bijan. Yes, you got improved defense. Yes, you got Drake London, but your quarterback, that's what's going to bring you down. So I can't say. I'm hoping for the best at this point. It's good to see that he's in, camp and he's throwing the ball around. But when it put them pads on, that's when it's gonna all matter, and that's when what's that between your ears? What's that's gonna do? How you gonna be favoring that leg? When the chips on the table. So that's my issue. You know what I'm saying? That's going forward, man. I can't say anything about it because I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Well, here's the thing, Banks. I want to say this much, man. I think it has been proven in this day and age to the NFL. Obviously, franchise quarterback is very important, right? 32 teams. I don't know how many, I can't really count right now how many teams have a bona fide quote unquote franchise quarterback. But we've seen teams here in the past plug and play guys, insert this guy here and make runs and win championships. I mean, you can argue that, you know what I'm saying, the defending Super Bowl champions took a plug and play guy who had been around the block and won a Super Bowl. I think that's something that a lot of teams, have to think about. In this day and age, like, do you take a runner on somebody that you can plug and play into a system with guys around him that can win, or do you take a third of your money, all damn near half of your money, and pay it to somebody that's proven that will quote unquote get you there? Because let's be realistic, man. When you talk about franchise quarterbacks right now in the league, the only proven guy is Patrick Mahomes. He's the only guy right now in the league. And you can argue and say Jalen Hurts. But, if you had to say who's the guy that would be proven and you feel like can make it happen, it will be Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, you talk about injuries, Banks. He's coming off an injury as well. So, yeah, the thing is, I guess that, there are different avenues to take this approach. I mean, I don't think any team, this whole idea of tanking or this whole idea of, putting yourself in a better draft position to get the next great thing coming out. I mean, that's not guaranteed in the NFL, people. It's not. So my thing is, you build up as much as you can, and in the hopes that hey, you might get a plug and play guy. Tua, who knows? You would hope. I mean, a lot of people don't think that this will happen, but you will hope. Excuse me, Tua will catch lightning in the bottle if he starts, or Penix comes back, fully healthy, fully recharged, mentally ready to go ahead and take the challenge and can take the reins and move this offense where it goes. So, there's a lot of just open windows when it comes to talking about that position. I think, Banks, there are a lot of positives and then there are a lot of negatives, obviously. And for this fan base, obviously, Banks, wouldn't you agree that I think a lot of fans hang on to negative just because in these situations, the organization hasn't done well trying to tread those waters, right?
Absolutely. And then that's what a lot of fans, a large percentage of these fans are sitting on. We don't have nothing positive to think about for these last 9 or 10 years. So what do you want the fans to do? I mean, yes, there's so much positive you can think about when it comes to this franchise. You only can give what you put out, you know what I'm saying? And what you've been put out is a lot of mediocre football. So far, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't blame some of the fans of saying, you know what, wake me up when you do something. So at this point, we don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to lock up our core. I want Bijan to get his bag. I want, what I'm saying, to be able to say that, I don't have to ever worry about this particular position on my football team. And that's refreshing to think about. If you think, you got to worry about running back. You don't have to worry about wide receiver. Now you don't have to worry about tight end. I mean, I guess that's kind of good, I guess. Going forward, we'll see, your explanation of, a plug and play quarterback versus a franchise quarterback. I've seen teams won with both. So, I mean, what do you do? I mean, it's just, if it's your time, it's your time, I guess.
I mean, obviously, a great point by my man Primetime Ray. Like, do you put this core around somebody to entice a franchise quarterback? I mean, you know, the thing about bringing in a franchise quarterback, man, that's kind of hard. I mean, I think a lot of NFL teams look at the route of, building with a young quarterback. I think that that's been like the kind of theme here, Banks, when you agree with drafting a young quarterback and trying to
Yeah.
follow that through. I think
Yeah.
we kind of did the opposite with Kirk Cousins. I mean, we did draft Penix, obviously, after
Yeah. We
signing
we
Kirk
really
Cousins,
we absolutely
which
mucked that up.
which
Absolutely
which
mucked
which,
that
which
up.
was crazy. But I think that what you want to do is you want to grow with a guy coming out of the draft. So I mean, yeah, there could be a franchise quarterback, a quote unquote guy that comes available that sees the pieces here in Atlanta and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I mean, obviously, if we go back and talk about rumors, Banks, there was a time when we thought that there was a franchise guy that might come here by the name of Deshaun Watson. And from all that has been spoken since, that this was going to be an all-star cast that came here with him. I mean, there were conversations had. I think I want to say, what was the running back? was it Fournette? I think he went on a podcast and said that he was willing to come here. A couple of other receivers. They were gonna have an all-star cast here in Atlanta. Had Deshaun Watson came here, and then we
He
all
got the
know
bag and he'd change his mind, right?
exactly.
Right.
Cleveland said hold my beer, and we all know um what happened from that. Stokes brought up a good point here too, man. Kyle Pitts did have an injury as well that he's coming off of trying to rebound. So last year, yeah, we forget that he had. I'm not for sure exactly was it knee? I can't remember. I can't recall. But he is coming off of an injury as well. So I mean, that may have prohibited some of the performance. I mean, obviously, I know Banks that even when he was healthy, you had issues with him doing and performing what he needed to do. But he is coming off a major injury, I think, coming in. He was coming into last season with the injury. So that I don't know if that had anything to do with his performance last year. Like you said, it's always been in flashes. It's never been like a solid, 3, 4, 5 games. It's always been like a game here, a game there. But yeah, the injury could have had something to do with Kyle Pitts as well. He was coming off an injury, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Banks?
I don't remember. I think I want to say yeah, but when you say major, I mean I don't know. I mean he
I think he
didn't
had
miss a lot of
surgery.
time.
Well,
It
I
must
think
have
he was.
been.
Yeah, he did. I want to. I have to go back. Maybe somebody out in the chat can tell me if they can pull it up and let me know what injury he had. But I do want to say he did go out for a significant amount of time, and he was out with some type of injury. I want to say it was knee, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it was an Achilles. I want to say it was knee. So he did have an injury that played. I mean, in all injuries, you got to take that in consideration. I know Drake London was battling some injuries as well, but he came out and fought through them week in and week out. I think he did miss a couple of games last season due to injury. So that could have been one of the things that was kind of prohibiting Kyle Pitts from his high level of performance that we want to see him at. So I mean, right now, Banks, where do we go? I mean, we just talked about it a little bit. I know if you look at who the president of football operations, Matt Ryan, he when he was quarterback here, he always the team and the brain trust kept weapons around him. They kept people around him to make him successful. Obviously, the most successful quarterback in franchise history. Do you think his history at quarterback plays a part in them keeping these pieces here with the offense? I mean, I think that is that's a major draw with Matt. It's like, hey, we need to keep guys here that could be weapons that can grow in this offense. We touched on it a little bit, Banks, but you think Matt Ryan's opinion on that had a lot to do with locking up Kyle Pitts as well?
Well, now that you say that, now think about it. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense now. Matt Ryan will have a big voice, in bringing in like his suggestions of what to do to keep off offense together. He's an offensive minded man. He was the best quarterback in franchise history only. But who's thinking about that, right? But yeah, you made a good point. Yeah, he probably had a big say in that, matter of fact. So I mean, okay. I mean, if that's what you think. I mean, sure. Go, let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what rolls with it, man. I think we're wrapping up the mandatory OTAs, and then we're about to Banks, if you can believe it or not, a couple more weeks here, and then we're gonna be rolling into summer camp toward the end of July. This is crazy. We always talk about how football. It's like, damn, when the season ends, it's like, man, we gotta wait a long time for it to come back, man. Actually, man, it's been rolling, man. Like I said, they had the voluntary the voluntary OTAs, then the mandatory OTAs. And then now we're gonna roll. Like I said, I think we probably less than a month away before we roll right
Yeah,
into
three and a
to
half
camp.
weeks, I believe. I think the first team goes in on July 22nd. The first
Absolutely.
team.
And
Yeah.
I want to say that the Falcons probably crank that thing up a flowery branch. I want to say around July 31st, July 31st of August, sometime will be when the
Yeah.
Falcons
It's
started
no,
up.
no, actually it's the 28th.
Okay, 28th.
It's the 28th, I believe. I think everybody reports in the 28th. I said the 22nd. I think the two
In
teams
the
that play in the
Hall of Fame,
Hall of Fame
Hall of
game, I
Fame
think the
game
Cardinals and the Panthers, I think they start
report earlier.
around that week of the 20th or something like that. So yeah, it's basically 3 weeks away.
Okay, yeah, man. In other news, I don't know if we talked about it on the last podcast. Obviously, James Pierce Jr. Back he was able to join the team for the mandatory minicamp. Banks, we know that there's still a lot around that situation. That's a fluid situation. Obviously, we thought we knew everything, and then now it comes out he has to go through this program and this, that, and the third. There's a lot of talk, Banks, that the NFL might not issue a suspension or do anything until this thing has completely wrapped up. And some people believe that James Pierce Jr. could actually lace him up week one. He's back with the team. Obviously, is that your thought or that your assumption that he could probably lace him up week one? Because there's a lot going around saying that because everything is so fluid with this situation, that the league might not end up ruling on a suspension until probably it might not even be this season. We don't know. But what's your thoughts or your takes on James Pierce Jr. Back on the field?
Yeah, I find that highly hard to believe that the NFL is just going to sit there and turn a blind eye. This man, he was in handcuffs. I mean, I think people keeps forgetting that what he did, yes, it was sort of dismissed if you think about it, if you want to talk about it, but in the same light, when you're talking about the crest of the league, it's still a black eye when you should one of your players are in handcuffs and you got more than one officer trying to take him down, so it's not a good look, you know what I'm saying? So at some point, something's got to come across the desk of Roger Goodell, you got to basically accept the fact that it's a possibility. I don't think he's going to lace him up week one. If he does, I will say this. If he does, I'll be totally shocked. Totally shocked. But if I'm just assuming that he does not, and the league does give him some kind of punishment, listen, that punishment that he gets from the league is the probably the greatest thing he could probably ask for right about now for what he was facing, and I still, I'm on my knees praying, for him, like, giving him that second chance, dude, brother, you're spared, you know what I'm saying, to basically show that you're a good person, that you can, turn the corner to be a better person. You about to lose a lot, sir. You was about to lose your livelihood, and over what, what I'm saying? And you got that second chance. And I really, really hope that he take advantage of it. And hear all the naysayers, people on the outside of the Falcons, saying how he got away with murder and everything. And he should be, you know, every time he comes to the game, it should be somebody standing there with a picket sign to remind him of a piece of crap he is. He's going to get that, what I'm saying? But just feed off of it. People going to hate you for what you do. They're going to judge you, but they're not you. So guess what? You got to go out there and be the best Pierce Jr. you can be.
Man, it's always three sides to a story. Obviously, yes. I mean, in regards to what he did, it was wrong. Obviously, he was arrested, charged for it. Now he's, the state, I guess, decided to drop the charges if he goes to this program. I mean, it's no judgment for me. I mean, if that is, and I think that Rakina Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, she agreed also to drop some of the charges, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Big misunderstanding, obviously, that just got blown out of proportion. Obviously, the young man does have some issues. We talked about it on this podcast on, a couple of occasions. I mean, there was some talk about it, I mean, going into the draft, and that's why his draft stock fell low. Hopefully this is a learning experience. I mean, we'll see what the league is going to hand down. Obviously, when this is all said and done, like I said, this situation is still very fluid. So we'll see. I don't know if he laces them up week one. I don't know if they, in my opinion, like Banks, you would always want to go ahead and get it out of the way. Like, if you're going to suspend me, go ahead and suspend me for the first six, man. Let me get it out of the way and I can come back depending on where
Well,
my
let me
team
let
is
me
at that
ask you
point.
this question. I'm really curious. Like, how would you feel as a fan, like if he played week one? And that goes for anybody that's watching the show, type it in the comments. How would you feel if James Pierce Jr. was coming out that tunnel? You know what I'm saying? You think he's gonna get a good response? You think he's gonna get a standing O? I mean, you're gonna get a couple of boos. I mean, I don't want the kid to feel like he's a villain. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, he's young, he's made mistakes, you know. The kid's phenomenal. His rookie year, man, he blew my socks off, you know what I'm saying, for all the sacks that he did, and the kid he's talented. But I don't want him to go down as that piece of crap of a player. You know what I'm saying? I want him to still be viewed as James Pierce Jr., upcoming kid, you know.
I mean, listen, as fans, I think we are forgiving in certain aspects of things. Like I said, not to be the dead horse to death, man. I don't condone any type of domestic violence against any woman, any female, any type of domestic violence, period, whatever the case may be. But like you said, Banks, you said it, man. People make mistakes. People. We have the right to forgive people. Not to say that we're going to overlook it, but I mean, mistakes are made. People make mistakes all the time, and sometimes we put these athletes and entertainers on these pedestals, right? And we act like they can't do no wrong, and when they do wrong, it's double or triple what it would be for a normal Joe Blow out on the street if they did the same thing. I mean, like I said, this situation is fluid. I don't really know too many details about it other than what's been posted and what's been put out there. And I think that all parties involved have come to a resolution that, you know what, we want to move forward and we want to move past this. As for him coming out of the tunnel week 1, I mean, I would feel okay with it. I mean, if everybody around the situation has come to the resolve that, you know what, he's going to this program. I mean, the main thing is, I think, I don't know whether behind closed doors that, Rakina Jackson, she's okay. I think that's her name. Jackson is okay with what's going on, and she wants to see him get help. And they moved on with their lives and moved on from this situation. Both of them are athletes. Both of them are concentrating in both their crafts. And I think that one of the things is that they want to probably move past this situation. So yeah, it looked very, very bad, obviously, in the beginning. But like I said, this is where we are now in the resolution phase of it. So we'll see what the NFL does and what they do as far as the punishment. I think there's something coming down the line, but we just don't know when. I don't know when it's coming. Week 1, week 2, week 10. I don't know. My man Stokes said, you want to get it out the way, get the first 6 games, whatever you're gonna get, and then be ready if your team is in position to kind of make a push for the playoffs. I mean, yeah, that would be the ideal thing, right? But you don't know. We don't know what the NFL is going to do. They haven't said anything yet. I think they're being very cautious as well. So we'll see, man. So big news: Kyle Pitts gets an extension, 3 years with the Falcons. So we'll see how that rolls out. Banks got a few more things to talk about here, man. Looks like the time is kind of getting away from us because that was a lot to talk about, and that just dropped, man. So breaking news, we had to talk about it when we talk about Atlanta sports. Banks, we got to get a little bit into the NBA draft, which is happening tonight. But before we do, want to talk about, hey, the hot topic, still World Cup. Banks, your team that you've been following, man, I wanted to get your take on it, man. USA sits atop Group D right now, man. They just beat the Socceroos a couple of days ago, man. Australia 2-0, man. And they have looked impressive through 2 games. One more game to go this Thursday night against Turkey, which really has no meaning, but Mauricio Pochettino said every game has a meaning, and they're going to be ready to come out and play their best against Turkey, even though they're already into the round of 32, man. Your thoughts on the USA as they sit atop Group D, bro?
And it's so excited, man. Sat there and watched that whole match, man, and on the edge of my seat, you know what I'm saying, when he scored the first goal, you know what I'm saying, people around me was high-fiving each other. It was elation, it was like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? It's like you never seen a goal before. It's like you finally felt like, oh my gosh, we got one, we got us one. Then when that second one, it was like, and then they had to do the review on it. I think they came to confirm that it was a goal, and then it was like, oh my gosh, what is this real life? Are we here? It was surreal, Leo, and it felt good, and it gave me chills after the match was over, and the crowd was singing in unison, "Country Road." I thought that was a moment there. It was like, you know, I don't know if you've been keeping up with a lot of the social media around FIFA. USA got one of the weakest chants of all the countries, and I found it kind of funny too, to that, listen to all the chants around, every team. I thought some of them was pretty hard, with the Viking row from I think that's
Norway,
Norway.
I think, yeah.
I think that was that's hot, dude, right there, bro. Watching the Netherlands do their little they side to side and everything, and then go
The
back the other
orange,
side.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty dope. But they got to America, and we was talking about, we love America, we love USA, we love it. I was so embarrassed. I was like, wow, that's the best we can do. But
Hey, man, hey.
I took it with a grain of salt. Everyone's laughing at us with that on that aspect. But with that moment after the match and he sung Country Road, I said, that's it. That's our thing, and we sung it as a unison, and the whole stadium was singing back. It was like, man, has a new respect for that song now. It's like it's crazy, man. It fits the moment so well too, man. I don't know. That's how I felt about it.
You can feel it, man. Like I said, shout out to my capo, Reginald McKee, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. So here's the thing, not to get too political, man. The American Outlaws obviously are the official quote unquote supporters group of the U.S. men's and women's national soccer teams. And they try to do what they can, with these international events. World Cup only comes around, every 4 years, obviously, right? And then, the USA play quote unquote friendlies or matches in between. Then, you have Gold Cup, you have all these different CONCACAF nations, all these different other tournaments, man. So it's kind of hard to with MLS and the Premier League, when you have a whole season of fans that can actually get these chants and things together, it's a little different. Obviously, Norway and the Netherlands, they've been doing this thing for years. Shout out to Spain. I saw how they took over, what I'm saying, the block down there in Atlanta when they marched into the stadium. So, man, yeah, Country Road was one of those things that kind of gave me some chills as well, Banks, as I watched the USA, go on to victory, man, and move into the round of 32. The game is still important on this Thursday night for a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously, you want to sit on top of the group and you want to let the chips fall where they may. I think the implications now is if the USA close out, and I think they pretty much have the group in hand, is that they'll be able to stay on the West Coast as they move into the round of 32. They won't have to travel. Somebody, one of the second teams in one of those groups will have to probably come from the East Coast, travel over to the West. So the United States, obviously, as it sits now, if they continue to go through the round of 32 into the 16, they won't come, I think, East until they get, I want to say, around the semis. And that will be here in Atlanta. I can't confirm that. I will have to go do some research, but they sitting good right now, man. And like we said on the last podcast, Mauricio Pochettino, man, I think he is the X factor. Even though we have the talent is there. We talked about this with Reg and Rocks. These guys that you see on this USA men's national team, these guys play overseas. They play in some big, leagues overseas, man. So they are used to this kind of competition. This isn't the USA squad from 20 years ago that, you got a bunch of ragtag guys that were playing in the upstart league here in the United States in the MLS. These are guys that are seasoned. These are guys that have been playing this game for a while. They grew up with this. They understand the significance and importance of USA soccer now, and they're trying to move this thing and move the needle as far as they can. So I'm looking forward to seeing the game against Turkey and also looking forward to see what they can do in the round of 32. A couple of other quick tidbits that I want to get around to with World Cup news, Banks. I don't know if you know this or not, Banks, but it's a brand new goal record holder now in World Cup history, man. Somebody made history. Can you tell me who made history? Who's now the all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history now?
I think I'm gonna take a stab at it and say Messi.
Absolutely. Lionel Messi did it in some dramatic fashion. I think the other day, man, he missed a PK, but he ended up coming back and put the ball in the back of the net to become the all-time leading goal scorer in World Cup history, if I'm not mistaken. I think that actually happened on yesterday or the other day. I can't remember, man. It's been so many damn games. I've just been watching. Dude, I'm going to tell you, Banks, man, my TV has not come off of soccer, man. I was joking with my wife. She said, I don't think I've watched this much soccer ever. I'm like, yeah, man, it's we fired up. We're here for it. There have been some unbelievable games, man. Some just, we watched yesterday that rain delay up in Philly, man. You saw France team that looks pretty amazing. As they put the beat down, as you would say, Banks, belt to ash. Portugal today, they ended up, taking the win. And listen, Banks, I know you want to talk about this because this is the team that you kind of, you took a liking to, man. You're following as well. Capo Verde, man, they might be on the verge of trying to make it into the round of 32. They had another draw against another tough team the other night in Uruguay, man. This is the little internet could, man. I think everybody, if you didn't know who Capo Verde was, you definitely know who they are now. And I think nobody now is underestimating them at all. I think they got one more game in their pool against Saudi Arabia. If they can pull out a win, man, they'll move into the round of 32, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I believe they get that win. I think it's a very important match for them. They came out and I think they was it a draw with 2-2? Was it
Yeah,
the
they are
last they
2-2 with
draw?
Uruguay. So
Yeah,
the first
okay.
game was the 0-0 draw, I think, with Spain.
Yeah,
That was here in Atlanta. And then they
right.
had the 2-2 draw against Uruguay down in Miami. And then they take on, I want to say Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I can't keep up with so much damn soccer. I think
Yeah,
Friday they take
I
on
think you're right. I think
Saudi
you're right.
Arabia.
Yeah. And I was watching, when they scored their first goal. and how elated they were. The whole country was hugging each other and they in tears. They were on their knees, and you'll take for granted of what that first goal means. The first goal ever, in FIFA World Cup history, and you felt like they won it all. Like they were it was like a release, you know what I'm saying? It was something to see. Yes, you were right about Verde Cap. They are playing Saudi Arabia. Leo, I have another team I have to admit to you that I've been watching very
Okay,
closely.
okay,
Um,
okay.
I don't know if you've been watching, but Congo has really
Absolutely.
caught
Well, come
my
on,
attention.
man.
They've caught my attention not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. How they're stylish coming into the tunnel, how professional they look, how the fans are rallied behind them. Listen, I have a real big interest in Congo and how they are playing, like you said, like the little engine that could. They're going out there against all odds, and no one's giving them a chance. Listen, if both those teams, Congo and Cabo Verde, they advanced on, that's a win for FIFA. That's a win for FIFA, and I think that's going to basically put more eyes on those particular teams. They already being talked about as we speak, Leo. I'm talking about
Yeah.
just their style, their fans, how passionate they are. They were. How many times have I seen that particular celebration inside of Houston when they had that goal and they were going just absolutely back, you know what, just going crazy. And it's like, you know what? Yes, that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? That particular going overboard, going crazy. Yes, it's all about that. And you people who are like casuals, beyond the casuals who just really don't understand the sport, were like, I don't get it. I was like, it's deep, bro. It's deep. It's an
I mean, yeah,
international thing. Listen, this is global. And like I said, when you see stuff like that, that's that that come together as a nation, as a country. You know what I'm saying? That you feel it. You feel it through the TV screen.
dude, you got to understand something, man. Teams like Capo Verde, it means something for a country of like I want to say 500,000 people to have the support for their team to go up against a monster in Spain and draw. To go up against a because let me say something. Uruguay is nothing to sneeze at, man. Bielsa has, he's a legendary coach, has a great track record. Uruguay has fielded some of the best teams in world soccer, and they drew with them as well. This is nothing to sneeze at, man. It's exciting, and like you said, Banks, man. Even if you don't watch soccer, man, just the storyline of it, man. The Rocky storyline of it. Against Apollo Creed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Rocky storyline against Drago is kind of what you put these parallels against, man. You can't help but to get excited for these little nations. Congo drawing against Portugal and Ronaldo. I mean, come on, dude. Ronaldo, one of the greatest players in the world, and little Congo drew with Portugal. I mean, obviously those some storylines that you want to check out and you want to watch. So I'm glad of that. I think Congo, if I'm not mistaken, plays tonight. It's going to be a late one against Colombia, if I'm not mistaken. I think at 10 o'clock. So maybe you tune up and see the Leopards play if you didn't see them play against Portugal, man, and see if they can make it into the round of 32. Listen, I told you this before. I mean, shout out to the Super Eagles, Nigeria. We got to get them back in the next. As I can see the badge on my jersey, if you can see it, man. I root for all of the CAF nations, all of the nations in Africa, man. I'm pulling for, and I want to see them do well, man. Morocco, not so much, but that's a whole nother conversation that we can have at another time. But listen, man, Ivory Coast, Congo, Cape Verde, South Africa, whoever it is, man. You got, I think, Tunisia and Algeria. Those are African nations as well. I want to see those nations do well. Obviously, man, I definitely want to see the United States do well. So we'll see how this all pans out. A couple other things before we round this out and talk NBA draft. Tomorrow in I was about to say the Beans, but it's Atlanta Stadium, Banks. Haiti takes on Morocco at Atlanta Stadium, I think, tomorrow, man. I think you said you had a couple of friends or coworkers that were from Haiti, so they'll probably be actually very excited about that
They're
game, right?
there. They found tickets and they're going and
Oh,
they're excited. I couldn't fathom how excited they were, but they are very excited. They wear their kits to work. That's how excited they are. But I can't knock it. I can't knock them. Look, that's their country. You know what I'm saying? They said they don't know if they have a chance or not, but they know they're gonna be in the building and it's just about being there. And I was like, damn, this the little
Yeah,
things for them, man. It's just the little things. And they appreciate that. So hey, we take it for granted here in America. It's like, oh, USA, what big whoop. But it's deeper for them.
man, absolutely, man. I am so happy for them. Like I said, I know they hate it because we got to listen. I say to all my Haitians, man. I got a lot of Haitian friends, man, in Miami. I got some Haitian friends here in the Atlanta metro area, man. So South Park say to them, man, I know they're gonna be turned up, they're gonna be hyped for this game, man, and to represent their country, man. So, I'm excited for them to go into this game against Morocco, man. I'm hoping they pull out a win against Morocco. Obviously, I told you about my thoughts about them, so I want to see them do big things against Morocco
Well, I think
tomorrow.
also with Haiti, they have to win. They have to draw 3 points in order to have a chance. I believe the first two in each group gets in, and I think they take the next eight, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
Correct.
if they take the next eight, you have to be in that mix. So they have to win to be in that mix.
Yeah, man. So hopefully, yeah, like you said, I gotta look. Let me look quickly here if I can pull it up. I'm trying to see the pool that Haiti's in. So yeah, Haiti's in a rough pool here. They drew a rough pool. Group C: Brazil, Morocco, Scotland. So yeah, they've already taken 2 L. So yeah, this is do or die for them, man. They got to come out there and fight like hell tomorrow against Morocco if they want to have some type of chance with one game left in pool play, man. And this that's a tough draw. Scotland, Brazil, and Morocco. So I mean, let's hope for the best with them, man, and they can get a win, get three, and then let the chips fall where they may in their final game. I don't know who they play in their final game. I think it might be Big Bad Brazil, and if that's the case, God help them. Uh, so
I think they have to play. They already
Scotland.
played Brazil. They already played
Okay, so they lost
Brazil.
to Brazil, so they got
So
Scotland
yeah,
left. Okay.
yeah, they played. No, they already played Scotland. They played
Wait.
Morocco.
So
Morocco,
this
they
is so
lost
this is their
that.
last pool game. So
Yeah,
this is their
it's
last
their
pool
last
match.
one.
Okay,
They have
so
to beat them. Yeah, they lost to Scotland and Brazil.
Brazil. Okay, so last pool match. So this is basically a Hail Mary for them. Hail Mary in Group C for
But
them.
I mean, if they in order to be in a conversation with the rest of the eight, you have to win this one. So I
This match,
mean,
yeah.
it's
So
a
they say
long
it's a Hail
shot.
Mary. They gotta,
It's a
yeah, they
long
gotta,
shot,
they gotta
but I
do it.
mean, it's a lot of teams with just 1 point. So I mean, you might slip in there. So there's a lot of teams with 2 points after two matches. So you might
Yeah.
you a couple of ties and a victory tonight, you might get up in there.
Yeah, man. So yeah, they gotta fight it out, man. So shout out Haiti, man. South I say we'll see them down there, man. Tomorrow at Atlanta Stadium, man. Shout out to Fan Festival, man. Banks, I don't know if you got a chance to go down there, man. Nothing but positive
Oh,
vibes and positive things, man. Nothing but positive vibes, positive things coming from that place. They had to shut it down because of weather, I think, and then they had to shut it down when the USA played the other day on Friday because I think it was just so many people. They had to like close the gate. They was like, "Yo, man, we had capacity." But it was just nothing
well,
but peace, man, and just it's been good vibes down there. What's up,
I'm
man?
gonna give you something to be very proud of. Speaking of Fan Fest, Atlanta, you are the number one fan fest in the United States that hosted a fan fest in the FIFA World Cup. Atlanta, you knew how to represent the fan fest. So congrats on that. Brought in the
Hey,
most people, in other words.
hey, man, lovely. And then some of the performances I think on social media today, I saw that the Nappy Roots perform down there. I think Belly Gang Cushington is gonna perform tomorrow, man. So we got like artists performing. I mean, it's just been good vibes, man. I was able to go down there and check it out. Thinking about going back again. I don't know if that Georgia weather, the heat gonna let me be great, but I definitely go back, man. I told and so Banks, if you do decide to slide down there, man, I gave you some cheat codes. I hope you took note of those cheat codes I told you about, man. So if you decide to slide down there and do your thing, you can take advantage of that, man. So listen, before we move on, talk a little bit of NBA draft before we close this thing out. I know we've been impressed with the U.S., man. Is there any other team that you've been impressed? I mean, we talked about obviously some of the smaller teams, right, with the Cabo Verdes and the Hades and the Congos. But I mean, the USA has been very impressive. But any other team that you have been very impressed with to say, okay, you know what, man, I got to keep my eye on them. Obviously, for me, and I'll let you go here in just a second. Argentina always the defending champs. You got to keep your eye on them. Germany, they've looked very impressive, and of course, yesterday, man, France, my God, man, they look very impressive as well, man. So anybody that you are impressed with to say, hey, you know what, man, these boys can do it. And I always my summer boy Brazil, obviously as well, but Anybody
Well,
that comes to mind for you?
you stole my thunder. Only one I saw, on other than United States and in Congo and Cape Verde was Argentina. They look more complete. They look like the team that they want to repeat. So um, I haven't got a chance to look at France. I didn't see any highlights of France or Germany or even England. I think England's playing right now, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think they should have finished up against Ghana. I know before we started
Oh
recording, I
wow,
think it was
it's
still
draw. It was a
it's a
draw.
draw.
Wow,
So they drew
yeah.
with Ghana. So
Wow.
that's a tough result there. England with
Ghana
Ghana, but
has 4 points.
man, they gonna probably move through. Listen, I'm
Ghana
telling
has
you,
four
man.
points. Wow.
Everybody in Africa, we going for them. But you already know the team I'm not going for over there. So yeah, man. Shout out to Ghana.
Wow.
Shout out to Ghana, man. Shout out to them.
That's a
Um,
big time, big time right there.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. So, man, very impressed with the World Cup, man. Got a long way to go, Banks. We still got a long way to go. Like I said, man, got a lot of good matches coming up. And then once we get out of pool play, man, when it's going to hit the fan, when we get to the round of 32, it should crank up and ramp up even more. So, very excited about that. All right, man, Banks, before we wrap this thing up, know we had a lot to get into and squeeze into this show, but, NBA draft is today. That's why you wearing them Hawks. NBA draft tonight starts here. Am I right? It does start
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, it starts tonight. I'm representing the home team. As you can know, a lot of people know that the Hawks did a trade last night over just out the blue, bringing in Andre Wiggins from OKC. Brought him in to kind of plug in that bench. You know what I'm saying? And for what I could remember from him, I remember he played a little bit in playoffs in that championship run. But there's a video of him, and they did championship speech, and the OKC crowd they live by it. If you go and get a chance, um, pull up his speech. It's you can't miss it. Once you type in Aaron Wiggins championship speech, it'll come right up. And he basically said, this was, what it was all about. When he came from as a rookie, they only won 22 games, and then look where we are now. You know what I'm saying? We on top of the world. It was a powerful speech, and we're now embracing him to be a Hawk. So don't know where that goes from here. Honestly, Soleil got a lot on his plate right now. We're picking number 8. A lot of rumors going around, Leo, saying that there's a possibility we may
Trade bait.
trade this with the New Orleans Pelicans. Oddly enough, the same pick we got that from might be going right back to him for a guy named Trey Murphy. A
Wing
lot of
guy, yeah.
people,
Like
yeah,
a
a lot
wing
of
guy.
people are
Yeah.
trying to hope that into fruition. I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. But that's just a rumor. You're gonna get a lot of these rumors right before draft, before it actually kicks off. Of course, about the was the Greek Freak got traded off to
To
Miami.
Miami. Correct.
So, that kind of shook the NBA world. So, well, I mean, we're here with Willis and Dillons of the NBA, and the off season starts now, Leo. So
Absolutely.
let's see what happens to our birds and see what we can do with it.
Man, listen, we here now. NBA. It was like the finals was like last week, right? And then now we here. Now we're here at the NBA draft. The NBA moves fast. Damn. Obviously,
Yeah,
yeah. The Greek Freak Giannis is down in Miami now. Miami no stranger to making big moves and bringing big names into that organization. So we'll see how that all works out down there with the pieces that they have in Miami, man.
a lot
I
of
wish
folks
he would have
still holding off Jalen Brown too from Boston to come home, but
to Atlanta.
that's a long shot. So
I mean, yeah, that's been some talk, man. Obviously, the Ant-Man talk from Minnesota. If I'm not mistaken, I think Minnesota just got picked up. If I'm not mistaken, I saw it was come on. Morant. Did John Morant go from Memphis to Minnesota? Was I dreaming that, or did something happen with that? Did they
I
make the
didn't hear
trade for?
anything about that. I'm looking at the ticker right now. I don't see anything like that. That would have
Okay,
been top
okay.
top top story. If
Well,
so,
maybe I was asleep or something when I saw that. Maybe that was something that they thought they were cooking up. I'm not for certain. I don't know. Somebody in the chat could let me know if that was going down. I just made that up in my head. I don't know. But listen, Hawks got the number 8 pick, like you said. Obviously they can use some front court help, man. We can use a solid point guard. Obviously, after the absence of Trey, we need a point guard, man, because we was doing it by committee last year after Trey left, man. Everybody was bringing up the rock for us. So I think that if we do stick at 8 or we do, keep the picks here, I think, once, and they said by the time it shakes out to us at 8, man, a lot of the top major players will be gone. And obviously the Hawks, like I said, if you don't make that trade with the Pelicans, you got to get you some front court help. And I think you got to find you a point guard out there that's going to help, man. Some names that kind of floated around. Kingston Flemings out of Houston, and another name that floated around was I think it's a guard out of Arizona Birds, if I'm not mistaken. Those are some of the mocks that I saw that came up with the Hawks. Because I mean, you got some good pieces here. It's still and by the way, too, I don't know if you know Banks, but yeah, I think McCollum was signed to a 1-year deal. CJ McCollum, they signed him back for a 1-year deal, so we get some veteran presence back with him. But yeah, man, I think front court is where you start out. I mean, obviously, man, you want to strengthen the
You,
team all the way around, especially
you need a big
defensively.
guy too now. Don't forget about that.
We do need a big guy. I was just about to get into that and get your opinion on that, man. Seeing that, we kind of, we got bounced out of the playoffs, obviously by New York, right? Who end up becoming eventual champs. Um, the thing was, physicality and defense was two of the things that I saw that the Hawks needed, and they kind of lacked, in my opinion, in the playoffs. When you get to the playoffs, I think it becomes a physical game, and I think it becomes a defensive game. I think that's where you have to look, man, especially in the East. You got to get some physicality, and like you said, yeah, a bit, but you can't just get any big man, Banks. It has to be somebody that's going to give you a physical presence, and that's going to be, very good on defense. If you're going to look for somebody that hold up that 5 position, you want, in my opinion, too. I think that the Hawks, from a mentality standpoint, need to get a little more physical. Anyway, like I said, in the East, being is that New York isn't going anywhere. Teams like Boston and teams like Detroit, we saw what happened in Orlando against them. Going down the stretch, with kind of being physical and going out there and what you need to do. So I think that Ansay, needs to look at maybe bringing a physical presence in and getting the bench deep. We saw New York with a deep bench and was able to take people into deep waters with their bench as well, man. So really ready to see how this all plays out and what the Hawks are able to do in the draft and make some more probably free agent acquisitions, right?
Yeah, yeah, hopefully, what I'm saying, this is the beginning. For what I'm hearing, a lot of the whispers around is the fact that honestly Soleil is not done. He's not finished. We don't know what's about to happen. So far that he's been doing, he's been really shaping this team, and everything's looking on the up and up. If I don't know if you agree or not, but we actually got something positive about this team for once. You know, coming back from that last, that GM and the GM before that, and the kid put us in all that kind of hell, that cap hell we was going through, and finally we got somebody with some with an idea, and I think that's huge in itself. I'm excited for one to see, what the outcome is going to be, how this roster is going to look come October. Um, also it was a you know possibility we go after that Michigan kid, that big Michigan kid, Mara. I forget his first name. Last name Mara. He's going to be supposedly there at 8, but a lot of folks don't want him at 8 because they feel like it'll be a reach. Listen, you need a big guy. I don't know where you're gonna get him from. I don't know if you're gonna just be okay with a Kongwu and that's it. You gotta have somebody else there. So I'm gonna let Ansi Soleil do his thing. I'm not gonna worry about it. He's been doing so good so far. Hey, let's see what
Let him
happens.
let him cook. Let him and Snyder cook, man, over there and see what happens, man, and see what goes down, man. So we'll tune into the draft. I guess I can turn a little bit away from the soccer for a minute to see what the draft is gonna do, or I just see the pop up on my phone when it comes through, man, at 8,
Oh
man. So
yeah, because
excited to see
whatever
that.
happens, you're gonna see a instant reaction. Oh, before we go, Leo, I want to give a shout out to Atlanta Dream, that other basketball team in the city, who's doing their thing with the back-to-back wins over Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. And I'm having a hard time of what the narrative of Angel Reese is around here, and not just around Atlanta, but it's just in the sports world. that she's this villain, or that she doesn't care, and she doesn't care but nobody but herself. And I disagree. This woman go out
Well,
here and she plays her butt off constantly. Yes, she's coming from a situation where she first got into the league, very controversial between her and Caitlyn, and that's the media who's sparking up that feud between the two. This girl has never ever asked for that negative connotation of her. They built that on her, and she just going out there doing what she was doing, and then people just they tearing her down, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it at all.
hey man, listen, we'll put a pin in that, man, and actually we'll come back to that, man, opening up, barring that we don't have any breaking news on the next podcast, man. We'll put a pin in that and come back and talk a little bit more about Angel Reese and a little bit more about the Dream as the season is progressing over there with them as well, man. Because yeah, I think that's a storyline that needs to be talked about. To kind of dig a little deeper now that she's here in Atlanta and playing for the Dream, man. Obviously, man, want to get into that. But Banks, we have come up to the end of this show, man. A lot of stuff to talk about, and we were able to squeeze it in a timely fashion. I am so proud of us today. Banks, let everybody know where they can find you at, man.
We are professionals at this thing. Don't hate, man. We do this. This is what we
A
do. We've been doing this for what's this
minute.
pre-COVID. So it's like I know a good 6-7 years now. So we know how to squeeze it in. But yes, you can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook or Baby Banks 80 on Instagram. And yes, we do this because we love this and we love this for you guys, and we like talking sports. We like talking sports even when we're not on this platform. Me and Leo and also Derico, we will get on the phone and we will talk and we will text each other and like, did you see that? How do you feel about this? That's some bull crap. We will, well, not exactly like that. We will say a little bit more angrier
A little
words,
more animated.
but
We'll be a little more
yeah, but
animated.
we are more we're filled when we talk sports, and then when we talk sports we're very passionate with it, especially me and Leo, because me and Leo will get on a soapbox to each other and we will basically blast each other out, and it's all love the next 5 minutes. So you know that's what we like to do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Very passionate fans about, just sports in general and about our city, the city of Atlanta and the sports teams here. And we want to all see them do well and do successful. Hit us all up on every social media channel that you can, man. Wherever you at, still Facebook. Hit us up, man. Shout out to everybody in the comments over there at Twitter, man. Our faithful followers. I'm gonna call them our faithful followers over there on Twitter. I'm sorry, on Twitch now, man. Shout out to my boy Stokes over there on Facebook as well, and all our followers on YouTube. Man, make sure y'all subscribe to the show, man, whatever platform that y'all watch us on, man. Also, a couple of people has hit us up about featuring on the show. We hadn't forgotten about you guys. We'll get some more information from you moving forward coming up. And we'll try to definitely get you guys featured on the show, man. Get your products, your artwork, your music, whatever you want us to feature on the show. We'll definitely get that done moving forward. So we hadn't forgotten about you. We're putting the pin in it. We'll get some more information and we'll definitely swing it back on the next episode. So, all right, Banks, man, this has been another edition of the ATL 3 Style Podcast Live, man. We'll see y'all on the next go round.